What's up, YouTube? It's Ben, and let's talk about the 80-20 rule in recruiting. Alright guys, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for subscribing, dropping comments, liking. Hey, if you're not in my Facebook group, Six Figure Recruiters, link in description. You definitely have to be there. 10,000 other recruiters are there just like you, learning and scaling their own recruiting empires. Definitely a place for you to be. I would definitely click that link and join the group. All right, so almost everyone knows about the 80-20 rule, also known as Pareto's principle, if you paid attention in school whatsoever. So the 80-20 rule applies essentially everywhere in life that we can imagine, including business. And basically what it boils down to is that 80% of outcomes or outputs essentially are derived from 20% of your input or what you cause. So of course I'm shooting this video about recruiting, so stick with me here until the end because I just might uncover some areas in which you can definitely improve your recruiting business massively. I think also right now would be a good time to tap that thumbs up button on the video. I would definitely appreciate it. It just grows the video and you'd be really awesome for doing so. So basically in every single aspect of your recruiting business, 20% of your input or your effort or whatever it is causes 80% of the results. For instance, when you actually start the business from the ground up, the 20% sweat equity, the effort, the energy that you put into the business is going to directly correlate to the 80% result that you're going to get out of that. All right, so let's be really specific and talk about acquiring clients. Let's say that you're spending 20% of your time sending out cold email campaigns, setting up LinkedIn automation, doing conversations, conversions, contracts, all that stuff to acquire clients. That inevitably will result in you getting 80% of your clients. So you can think of it like this. If you run a 10-hour day, right? 2 hours out of the day you spend acquiring clients, meaning you're doing all that stuff I just said. The rest of the 8 hours of the day are essentially time when you're going to be getting those clients, signing those contracts, being able to actually get clientele. The key is if you don't know these numbers or understand these numbers, you have a problem. And I'll talk about that here in a second. But if you don't get why this ratio is important, you really need to listen to the rest of this video. So let's talk about candidate acquisition. So you're now looking for candidates, the clients that you already have, right? So in general, about 20%, aka let's talk about $1,000 budget, right? About $200 in ad spend should essentially get you $1,000 return, aka your fee of what you actually collect. So for instance, if you have a $10,000 deal, meaning you're going to get $10,000 paid out to you because you signed that client and placed someone, right? So overall, using the 80-20 rule, you should probably expect to spend somewhere around $2,000 in ad spend to get $8,000 in actual fee. Now we're still going with the 80-20 rule here, but however, let's be really clear. As a good recruiter, you should definitely be closing that gap and hovering in closer to like 5% on your ad spend and getting a 95% return on your actual fee that you collect at the end of the day. If you're a good recruiter, you should be working on those elements. All right, so let's talk about 80-20 as far as time goes. If we're looking at candidates specifically and we're doing resume reviews, interview prep, actual interviews on the phone, that time should account for about 20% of the entire candidate lifespan, aka 20% of the time you should be talking to the candidates. The other 80% is basically free time where the candidates go interview, they get hired, and you get paid, right? So 20% of your input should cause 80% of that outcome. I mean, business expenses overall, like your total overhead, should be about 20% of your costs. So I'm talking about your LinkedIn subscription, I'm talking about your ad spend, I'm talking about any software costs that you have. Everything should be about 20%, and you should be at about 80% margins if you're doing everything properly. Now, of course, that does not include taxes because taxes just screw everything up. Now, if your business is just getting started up, if you're just starting a recruiting or staffing agency, make sure that your numbers look like this. Make sure that you're spending about 20% and getting about 80% return. Make sure that your time is about 20% on candidates, 20% on clients, and that your returns are looking at about 80% in total. If that picture doesn't make sense, again, something is totally off. For example, your ad spend should be right at or well above 20% to acquire a candidate. Your overall overhead should be at around 20% with 80% margins on your actual profits. Your time spent on client and candidate acquisition should align with 20% versus 80%. 20% being the amount of time that you put into those efforts. Now, whether you're just starting your business up or whether you're full scale and those numbers don't match up, the 80-20 rule does not align with your business, you absolutely have a problem. The problem is that you're allocating time and or money where you shouldn't be. You could be spending way too much on ad spend just because you might not be super versed in how to write proper ads or how to target for ads, right? On candidates, and that's a huge problem right there. That could throw off your numbers big time. Time-wise, if you're spending way too much time acquiring a client or acquiring a candidate, that means that there's a deeper seated issue here with the business itself. Like for instance, instead of 80-20, if you're spending like 50% of your time getting clients or maybe even 60-70% of your time acquiring candidates thereafter, something is super off with what you're doing, and that probably roots back to your systems and processes that you have in place or what you've set up, or, you know, depending on whether you're starting up brand new or you're a seasoned vet. You have a problem and you need to audit your specific time and you need to audit your expenditures. Both of those things will tell you pretty much immediately what is wrong, what is off. It's going to be the time or the money, and it could be both. Now, for those of you that are already aligned with 80-20 and everything in your business aligns with that ratio, you're right on the money. You're doing everything pretty much perfectly. Stay there, stick with that, and make sure, certainly, that you don't deviate from that ratio. Now, like I said before, the 80-20 rule honestly applies everywhere in life. So honestly, don't just audit your business, audit your life. Figure out how you're spending your time. Figure out what you're getting out of your time. Figure out how you're spending your money and what you're getting out of your money. Literally, this could change your life. Hey guys, I hope this video was valuable for you. If it was, definitely smash that thumbs up button for me if you would. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and hit that bell alert button so you know every single time I release a brand new video. Until then.